My name is Jason Daniels and I'm a director here at Business Depot. I wanted to talk today about cash flow and stock. Since COVID, particularly for those businesses in retail, wholesale and manufacturing who are carrying stock, it's been quite a tumultuous time, particularly when you're trying to manage the inventory on hand, the customer demand and have your cash flow. We've still seen issues with getting stock from overseas. We've seen fluctuating customer demand, and we've gone through periods where we haven't been able to get the stock, or we've had too much stock, and now we're going through an inflationary environment where we're trying to keep our costs under control. So I wanted to talk about a few strategies that we've used with our clients in terms of managing this whole process. Now, every industry has, I guess, its own unique personality, and not all strategies work for all industries. So I just wanted to talk about some of them generally. Now, one of the things we want to avoid is discounting. And I'll use the example for those of you that are a little bit older like me and remember the Big W, Target, Kmart, big toy sales. Now, discounting, they trained us to buy all our toys once a year for our kids when they had their 40 or 50% off toy sales. And all they did was cannibalize their sales by 40 or 50% because we bought all our toys for the year on one day. We've seen in a post-COVID world where certain retailers and wholesalers have been trying to liquidate stock, where they've gone into these sales cycles when stock has arrived, that again, we've seen some of them have gone straight to discounting as their first option. And I think all they've done there is really sacrifice margin. So I wanted to talk about some other options. And the first thing you need to do is really to understand your inventory demand, understand your margins, and know where you stand. So the first thing we're doing with a lot of our clients is understanding what our margins are. So what's our real cost of goods? What's the impact of foreign exchange? And we did a video late last year, which we can put a link to, around the impact of foreign exchange on cost of goods. And what is the true impact of everything that's gone on the market with freight, warehousing, logistics, staff, on the margins, and what break-even sales you need for your business to make profit. Because I think that's a critical number for you to understand. The other piece of that is at the moment, we're seeing prices go up in the market. And now I think is the one opportunity for you to actually be increasing prices rather than necessarily discounting. Now, you can do that if there's demand for your product, which means demand planning and making sure you've only got enough stock on hand as there's demand for and not over ordering. Now, one of the reasons why I'm encouraging a lot of my clients to look at their prices to maintain their margin percentages is I honestly believe that once we get through this period of inflation, that like post GFC, we may actually come back into a period where prices will actually go through a period of stagnation, where we won't be able to put the prices up in the market, where there's going to be a lot of resistance from certain industries for prices to increase. So if you don't get those price increases now, you're going to struggle to get them in 12, 18 months, 2 years time, depending on your industry. So better to take those increases now. Now, in terms of where you do have stock on hand, where you are looking to move excess stock, or where demand has been fluctuating and you may have forward orders coming and you're wondering what you do with that stock in the warehouse, some strategies we've been looking at is looking at offering stock to good payers or loyal customers. Looking at bundling, looking at, for example, in certain wholesale industries, buy 13 for the price of 12. Get additional units for early settlement so that we can actually increase the cash flow. We're providing it to good customers who we know are going to take that into the retail market, but we're doing it without pure discounting. We're doing a lot of test marketing. So we're seeing customer tastes are changing. We're seeing loyalty changing. We're looking at different credits for next spend. No one strategy is working. So historically, we may have been spending a lot on Facebook marketing or Google AdWords or pure spend in the market. We're finding that cost per click or that cost per impression has gone up dramatically. So we're working our existing customer books. We're looking at different paths to market. We're looking at different wholesale retail markets. We're looking at non-traditional retail paths to market as a way to move stock through different pathways. We're finding some wholesale markets, for example, actually providing us a better return than direct to retail because of the cost per click. So we're trying to think a little bit differently about how we're getting the product to market to maximize margin. Now, as I said, some of these are very industry specific. Now, part of that is then understanding your overheads for that break even and looking at where you can be cutting some of those costs of overheads. Do you need to be spending the amount you are on your warehousing? Is your 3PL, if you're using a 3PL, giving you best value for money? Are there alternative options out there? Are you getting the best return from marketing? Are you getting the best return from some of your service providers? Are subcontractors giving you the best return, or should you be bringing some of those services back in-house? We've seen all sorts of things where we've literally been going line by line through the P&L to see if we're getting the best return on each dollar spent in that line in the P&L. That then equates back to a number of units that we need to sell each month in order to break even or to get a desired profit. Obviously, the less we spend, the less we have to sell, the less pressure there is in the market at the moment. The other thing that we're looking at is things like sales commissions and making sure sales commissions are paid when we receive the money in. We've seen historically where sales commissions are paid, but we may not receive the cash. And it winds up being a bad debt. So tweaking sales commissions. And the last thing I would say is be honest about what is your saleable stock. There's a lot of things that were very saleable and attractive during COVID that in a post-COVID world where supply chains have opened up, tastes have changed, certain discretionary spend has come out of the market, certain stock is just not saleable, it's not recoverable at what it was, discounting may be your no other choice. We have had certain instances where we've actually donated certain things to charity, or we've actually just had to dispose of the stock. The cost of keeping the stock was actually more than disposing it and any profit we would have recovered from it. We all make mistakes. Certain segments of retail, tastes have changed, spends have changed, and sometimes it's quicker to turn it back to what cash you can get or simply just to cut the costs. It's a complex area. It's an area we get very hands-on with our clients. If it's an area where you'd like to have a discussion or get into some more detail with us, please feel free to reach out and have a chat to us here at Business Depot. We'd love to help.